Hey everyone, it's Alex and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. And I'm going to give you a bit of an intro as to what's been going on these last couple of weeks. You might have noticed that last week we did not have an episode of Snapchat on this channel. And that's not because we didn't record it. It was actually fully recorded, but both Cozy and I happened to be traveling and we hit an insurmountable number of technical issues that literally prevented my edition of the Snapchat being uploaded in time. And then when the patch dropped and everything changed, we decided to hold it back for that week. But this week we want to bring you what I believe to be the highlight of that episode, which was the Q&A that we had done with questions from the community. I gotta be honest with you guys, this is one of the most fun things I've done in my career, and I could not be more excited to present to you the questions and the answers that Cozy and I got from the community. It was a ton of fun, and if you like this kind of content, let me know in the comments, because if it's something you want to see like on a more regular basis, like once a month or two, then Cozy and I will most certainly do that, because it was a lot of fun to open up and discuss some of these matters with you guys, whether it be Marvel Snap or life related. So I hope you enjoy this this content. I hope you enjoy this different kind of episode of the Snapchat. Next week we'll be back to our regular scheduled Snapchat, 3 topics on both mine and Cozy's channel. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy. We're gonna get a chance here to answer some questions from you guys in the community, and we're getting started today in our mailbag session with Kernimbus, who asked what some of the cards you would like to see with some updated visual effects. They mentioned seeing like Dazzler getting kind of a little bit of an uptick. Cozy, what is a card that you'd like to see an updated effect for?
It's funny because you don't think about it, but like VFX like make the card, right? Think about Hulk slamming down Venom and his like all the chomp, and like there's so much that kind of like, or Hela and that like, oh, right? Like there's a lot of things going on there, and there's some cards that are like they're just missing it. Dazzler I think was a good one because like some of the best art we've seen, and it just nothing really happens. Speaking of like Iron Lads was so cool. The new cards are fantastic, right? There's a few, and I feel like on reveal, like a lot of those have them. I think ongoing is missing more than other ones, right? Like Super Scroll has a good one. But off the top of my head, okay, Psylocke is one where it's like, just give me like a Katana Slash or something, purple energy going on, right? Like really cool card that, I kind of would like to see that. But Hazmat for a card with like so much badassery around it, like and possibility too of like just like chemical oozing, I don't know, whatever it could, a splash of green on the screen, whatever it could be. Dude, I don't know how Hazmat has nothing. And then I gotta mention my boy. All right, and I am gonna bring up the greatest variant. So those that are watching here on YouTube, you get the chance to see him in all of his greatness. Agent Coulson.
This pixel variant's so good.
It's the best. I'm hell-bent on making it a gold crackle, like 20 split variant. Agent Coulson, just give me a little whistle, maybe, or a little or like, I don't know, something cool. Give me a gold flash. I don't know. I want something. Give my Agent Coulson some love, because the helicarrier, you get the voice line. I feel like he needs a voice line. Because that's what, like, and same as Maria Hill, like, both of them need voice lines.
I find it fascinating that you're identifying Super Scroll as one with good VFX, because that was one I was like, man, come on. Why does Super Scroll not show, like, the armor? Like, why? Can we not fix that?
Yeah, they need to fix a little bit of that, but, dude, there's too much going on, man. Can you imagine if there's an armor with Professor X? But there's some that have to be, like, Professor X. Super Scroll has to show Professor X, right? Like, I don't know why that doesn't happen. Armor's another good one. But, like, it could get out of control, I feel like.
Yeah, true, but it can, like, I've won games because people have tried to Shang-Chi me behind a Super Scroll that had armor and it wasn't showing the armor.
Oh, yeah, all the time. What's one for you?
I have one that, like, I cannot believe there's no visual effect. This is, like, the worst. I cannot believe it. Infinite. Cozy. Infinite. When you drop Infinite, it's just like, wham. Like, Abomination, like, the board shakes. Hulk does it. She-Hulk does it. Infinite, 620. Wham.
Yeah, it does nothing. It is. Yeah, even She-Hulk, like, huh, and Infinite's just like, I win. Like, nothing. Yeah. Nothing happens. Yeah, dude, this is, like, and what's funny is, like, I don't know, it's so notorious in Marvel that, yeah, it needs to have some kind of, like, portal ripping through space, coming out. I don't know, but yeah, he needs one for sure.
For our next question from Matthew C. Jacobs, we have, what variant have you been waiting for the longest to show up in your shop? Cozy, I've got one. It is the Zabu variant. I don't even know who it's from.
Yes!
There's this
No
What?
way. Did
Is
you
it the
say
same
Zabu?
one?
Yeah, Zabu
Yeah,
was the
it's
guy
this-
out of every card in the game. Zabu was who I was going to talk about.
I have not used any Zabu boosters. All my Zabus are blue because I just got them to 3D because I'm waiting. There's this one, I'll put it in the center of the screen, but there's one golden Zabu where he's like, it's just beautiful with the moon behind him. I need it. I need it gold and inked.
Any Zabu variant. I don't have, guys, I own an embarrassing amount of variants in the game. I buy a variant, and I already have 9 variants. Like, I'm like, I want another Sentinel. Like, I don't have one Zabu. Not one. I have the Season Pass one. I don't want him because there's the mechanical one. I'll take the Dan Hip. I want the Dan Hip one. It looks fantastic. I'm sitting at, you can't see it, it's cut off at the top, 1,935 boosters. 1,935 boosters for Zabu. And I can't or won't use any of them until I get it. So that is so funny that out of every variant and or card, I kid you not, guys, we didn't line this up. It's the same one.
I can't believe it
That's
either
insane
because
to me.
like it's the variant. I think first of all, I also want to say this is just kind of going off the cuff here, but like I think we're underappreciating how good some of the original variants are too. Like pull up Gamora, like that original art is better than a lot of the variants. Honestly, like. We kind of undersell how good some of the original art is. Like, look at this Gamora. It is so good. Like, the OG Gamora is absolutely... Like, if that was a variant, 1,200 gold, I bet you people would want to buy it.
Oh, for sure.
But the fact that it's, like, the original, people are like, meh.
Yeah, exactly. All of Gamora's variants, too. It's just like, I don't even know which one to use because they're all, like, they're just dope. 100%, the base variants are great. I also think... by the way, I always show off, like, my new shiny split. It's my new one, by the way. I got a cool Black Panther. Anyway, funny enough is for the longest time, since like I got him back in January, this Super Scroll variant was the one that I wanted more than any. Probably it was my number one, and he showed up yesterday.
We've seen him on the podcast multiple times. I believe this was a Super Scroll. They got super zoomed in, but that was just like a screenshot of him, right?
I used him in all my graphics, but I never had him. And funny enough, I have plenty of boosters, but I'm leaving them with an orange until I can like upgrade them 20 times because I want the gold back.
I love the thing fist coming out. That's so good.
It's such a good it's such a good one. That was a good question though. I like that one.
All right, from Steven Teese, we have, when you first started playing Marvel Snap, what was the moment that made you go, oh, this is special?
Man, I think we kind of alluded to it on one of our previous questions, and it is the deck building. It's like I come from a lot of games that is about synergy and combinations of things. It was what I was concentrating before this, Pokemon, all these games. So like the aspect of like not having to memorize a million cards. It was honestly, it's the short games and the 12 card deck. That and the variance with locations. It's what Snap is to its core. It just, man, and then put Marvel to boot.
For me, it was like having the Marvel IP really be used to good effectiveness. Like the art was so good. It felt great to play. The 3D effect you upgraded card. I was like, whoa.
Oh.
I remember my brother upgraded a card to Infinite for the first time. He's like, look at this. I did it. I got a card to Infinite. He thought like that's the max. He didn't even realize he could split the card. He's like, I did it. Look how beautiful this card looks. I'm like, buddy, you haven't even started yet.
Okay, you know what? I would like to, I think I'll change my answer, actually. I'm going to cheat on that. If there's one thing I love in video games, it's time equals cosmetic. And so, like, for instance, I think there's a game called Smite. It was a kind of like League of Legends. And if you played with a god enough, you would be able to, like, gold, platinum that god. And so people would see you, and they'd be like, damn, that guy plays a lot of this character, right? And for me, when I found out, the upgrades were fascinating. But then when you could split, and I was like, wait, there's gold split? Like, if I played with, Iron Man enough, people would know I'm the Iron Man guy. Like, I love that. That is probably what sold me the most.
The fact that I have, like, multiple, like, ink gold split Chavez tell you everything you need to know about me.
For sure. But the other thing I want to note, too, and this is very often overlooked, this is a mobile game, right? It came out on a mobile. It's a mobile game first. Like, it is what it is. They revolutionized. I come from mobile games. That's what I consecrated for. People don't understand this game is dirt cheap. I don't care what you have to say. This game is dirt cheap compared to other mobile games. And so, like, they created a game where you didn't have to pay to play more. You could just play as much as you want. You could just keep playing it, right? And, like, to its core, there's a lot of freeness to just the core game. And I love that. Like, maybe you won't have the meta cards and all that. But, like, it's super cool how much free playing experience you can have.
All right, next question we have from Meep Manker. What music do you guys listen to? I prefer hip hop, rock, and pop. For me personally, I mean, my name is Octavarium in game, and that is a reference to Dream Theater, who was a progressive metal band. I was a drummer myself, and Mike Portnoy, who is the drummer and considered one of the best drummers of that era, was the drummer of Dream Theater. It's now Mike Mangini, who is also an incredible drummer. So my in-game name is inspired by my favorite band of all time. So that's that. And also, like, I'm from Canada, and Rush is Canadian, so I love Rush, and I just love music. And if I'm going to be honest, Cozy, when I'm doing work, you know what I listen to? Video game soundtracks.
All the time. That's what I have as my background music, my YouTube videos. So that's what I'm always listening to is like the next, like I'll just have it on running, and then I'll hear one. I'm like, oh, this is something cool that could go with Destroy. Like that's how I think of when it's multitasking. It's terrible because I'm already working, but then I'm always having to do that. But also just like on the low key front, like I just like Nintendo music and stuff too. So I do agree there. I listen to a lot of music, man. I feel like, you're getting older when you listen to like just what you used to listen to, right? Like that's my comfort zone. And so it depends on my mood. I definitely do like 80s, 90s, early 2000s rock. I go back to a lot of like, Rise Against and Linkin Park and stuff that I used to listen to back in the day. But also,
so you're a Linkin Park fan? It's like one of my absolute favorite bands of all time.
Well, yeah, dude, I love Linkin Park. But nowadays too, funny enough, maybe the bright colors give it away. I do like my EDM, guys. I do. I actually really like EDM. So Odessa, which isn't really EDM, but I would showcase them. And, I learned a lot of bands and artists from Coachella. I've been there several times, and so a lot from there, too. So I'm kind of all over the place. I'll Linkin Park it up. I was a Screamo kid back in the day, and then, I do also... I like metal, I like video game music, and then I like a little bit of everything, man. The oldies.
One of my favorite things to do is when I'm like commuting to and from work and stuff, I listen to, there's a very specific soundtrack. It's a piano rendition of the entire Stardew Valley soundtrack, and I listen to it all the time. My wife's like, why are we listening to elevator music? I'm like, this is Stardew Valley. Like, have some respect. Like,
when I'm editing, I'll listen to Skyrim. Yeah, dude, all the time. Like, I get it. Elder Scrolls and stuff, and yeah, my wife's like, what the hell is this stuff? Wow, that's funny, man. We're cut from the same cloth.
Our next question comes from Colin Courier, and it says, Alex, how do you balance being a teacher, having kids and newborns? Cozy, you two on this one. And your dedication to Snap. I'm a teacher myself with 2 little girls, about to welcome a boy, and sometimes all the passions, they pile up, they threaten to spill over. I'd love to hear about both of your experiences.
Wow. Yeah, Colin, if there's like a secret to it, it is tough. It is very tough. I think my biggest joy in life, I don't care if I got 2 million subs, is being a dad. It's the greatest thing I get to do. It's the biggest privilege I get to have, and it's by far what I love doing the most. And so, yeah, definitely, it's kind of what Alex talked about earlier. You have to have, like, dedicated time. I'm very scheduled with, like, the time I have. You can't wake up at, noon and be like, no, what video am I going to do today, right? It's like a purpose, and it's knowing when and what to do, and making that time, to be there for story time or whatever, right? I think is one of the biggest things. But also, it is challenging, right, man? Because what happens with content creation is you never feel like you're doing anything enough. You don't feel like you're doing, because it's an endless void. When I was working in hotels, you had a project, you could work on the project, you finish the project. It's an endless void here, especially because you're a teacher, right? If you weren't teaching, or if you didn't show up to teaching one day, it's like some other more handsome Alex comes in and tries to take your job, right? Like someone's always trying to take your job per se, right? So it's such a weird concept of like never having enough time allocated to it. And at the same time, even if I spend endless time with my son and my wife, I'm like, oh, I feel I miss them, or I feel like I didn't, have enough time, or am I missing out? And so it's like kind of like getting over that feeling as well.
I could not agree more. It's impossible to punch out of content creation. Like, you just don't punch out. It's like anybody that has like a business can find like one that they run themselves. Like you just can't punch out. Like, it's not like you just show up to your shift and you walk away. Like, I could spend 24 hours a day editing, working, making new videos, and it just comes down to like you have to really set aside the time to make sure that you're being the best dad you can. Like, here's a good example. I used to stream from 7 to about 10:30 every single night. And what was happening was I was missing bedtime. I was missing bedtime with my kids. I wasn't reading bedtime stories. And it got to me, and I said, no, my content, I actually have better streams with better viewership, etc. I generate more content for YouTube and stuff if I stream from 7 to 10:30. But I said, I can't do it anymore. I need to be there for my kids at bedtime. I want to tuck my kids in. So I changed my schedule from that to 8:30 to 10:30, 11, or whatever it is. And ultimately, yes, it impacts my content creation a bit, but I go to sleep better at night knowing that I'm spending time with my kids and that I've done the best I can as a father, as a content creator, to manage all the expectations I have. And my kids know, they know, when I say, hey, daddy has to go to work, daddy's doing work, and I go downstairs and I start editing, or I record a podcast with my boy Cozy. They know that, it's something that, I love, and my wife supports it as well. And I gotta give her credit. A lot of my capabilities to do work comes from the fact that my wife takes on a lot of responsibility that I can't handle when I'm trying to record and I'm trying to edit and stuff like that. So, I mean, our wives really do a tremendous amount for us, because without them, we wouldn't have the opportunity to be as active on the platforms that we are, because, I mean, it is so demanding on your time. And I guess setting up those boundaries is so important.
Yeah, and it's remembering too, you're as good as your last video. And I'm not saying that as viewers, you guys don't care about us as human beings and stuff. I know you do, a good amount of you do. It's at the end of the day, I know my wife and my son are what matter the most, right? And at the end of the day, it's sometimes I'll spend hours and hours and hours making a video, and then I don't like it, and then I don't post it. And what I've realized is I just have sacrificed some of my passions. But luckily, a lot of my passions line up with content creation. But you asked how to manage these passions, and really, it's, that was what had to get cut first. I don't get to sit down and play Skyrim or sit down and play the new Legend of Zelda that's coming out. That's all I want to do. But I got to make content. So it's just sacrificing and making sure you prioritize things that are important.
Pwnemaster actually has a great follow-up question of what you just said, Cozy. And they ask, aside from Marvel Snap, what are other games we're playing? And if you're not playing anything else, what are some of your favorite games from before?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'll let you start.
Okay, so if I'm not playing Marvel Snap, I'm probably trying to sleep, honestly. But the realistic truth is I play a ton of Marvel Snap. If I'm not playing Marvel Snap, there is one game that I go to all the time, and it's Vampire Survivors. I love Vampire Survivors. Have you ever played Vampire Survivors?
Never, no.
It is Cozy. You're gonna love it. It's available everywhere. It's $3, and it is a phenomenal game. You're gonna love it. I can't believe
it's like Valheim, jealous. Right? But vampires. That's what I've heard, kind of, or no?
No, it is imagine a bullet hell where you are the bullets. That's what Vampire Survivor. You basically get attacked by swarms and swarms and swarms of enemies, and you just shoot shit everywhere. That's what it is.
Really?
It is. Oh, it is so good. Vampire Survivors is unreal, Cozy.
Dude, you're selling me. Yeah, I'm seeing the passion. I haven't seen this much passion for you in a long time. I can tell you like it.
It is. I love it so much. And the crazy thing about it is it's super cheap. And I'm just going to send it to you. I'm just going to gift it to you. And the thing is, though, is that not only is it cheap, but it is endlessly replayable. There are so many different builds of it. And it's just... I got to tell you, anybody that's looking at it right now, and it was I'm going on Steam, I'm checking it out, do not get dissuaded by the graphics. I'm telling you that right now, it's super 8-bit looking. Do not get dissuaded by the graphics. Its gameplay is legitimately god tier. You got to give it a shot.
Dude, I am. Sign me up. I'm in for it, man.
So for me, it's Vampire Survivors. Cozy, what's something that you've been playing?
Yeah, dude, funny enough, gaming is where I used to escape, right? From, again, my hotel job and all that. And now it's my life. So I'm almost always playing Marvel Snap. I have to concentrate so much for Marvel Snap. I never get to actually get to play as much as I want to. I would be playing right now. I love Marvel Snap, and I'm not just saying that. It's just the god honest truth. But I used to be a very heavy gamer. Have a big sports background, and I am hyper competitive. I love being competitive, which is what drives a lot of my content. And with that, I like to be competitive in gaming, and so I would always try to be top 500 in games and stuff. So Overwatch was that for me for a very long time. Dedicated way too much time to Overwatch. I was search and destroy player back in the early Call of Duty era. Played a ridiculous amount of that. Was ranked and did a bit too much of that. But at the same time, I also have a big love for nostalgia gaming. So just recently, I'll get mod packs for Skyrim or Fallout and things like that. and go visit those games. But Nintendo has a very core piece of my heart. I think people had, like, there was an era of, like, GameCube and PS2. And before that was N64, and before that was Super Nintendo. I went through those eras as well. But I go back to, like, GameCube and PS2 specifically. I was the GameCube one. And a lot of games on there kind of, like, defined my love for Nintendo and the IP there. So, you know, that's why you hear so much Fire Emblem, guys. You know, you hear a lot of that in my content, and things like any Nintendo game in the boat. Love multiplayer games. Love, you know, Super Smash, things like that. So those are like my nostalgia love. And then if I'm gonna get sweaty, I'm playing those other games so I can get some ranks going.
From Matthew Crawford Music, we have one of the most hard-hitting questions we've ever been asked on the Snapchat, and that is, what is your guys' favorite flavors of Pop-Tarts? Cozy, I gotta be honest with you, you look confused already, but the reason why I picked this question is because I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you. Because the few times that I've had the opportunity to go in the United States, and my wife and I, we like wander into a United States Walmart. I want you guys to know that the Walmarts that you guys have in the United States of America are very different than the Walmarts we have in Canada. They look the same. They got the same logos. It's the same colors. They wear the same safety vests. But you know what the problem is, Cozy? When I walk into the Pop-Tart aisle of a Canadian grocer, I see like 3 flavors, and it's painful. And those flavors all suck. They're like strawberry, blueberry, and poo, basically. And when I go to an American Walmart, you guys have so many flavors of Pop-Tarts that I barely can comprehend what's happening. So, like, I gotta be honest with you, Cozy. I have almost no options of Pop-Tarts, and it makes me sad.
To be honest, though, the most of those options suck, dude. They're like, a lot of those are like, you know, lasagna. Like, they get too creative, and you're like, just cut it out. There's only one answer of the best Pop-Tart. I'm gonna just end it. It's brown sugar. Done. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. And blueberry's not that bad. What the hell?
Brown sugar, really?
Yeah,
we don't have that in Canada. Have you ever been to Canada before? Like, you know what I would do? Why doesn't Canada have a brown sugar flavored Pop-Tart? If it's that good, like, we have brown sugar up here.
They just like don't choose it. I have been to Canada. I've been to Canada one time, Alex, and I don't remember it.
Is it because you were too young to remember it?
Close. I was in Seattle, and we were looking. I was with some buddies. We were fresh off college. We were in college still, and they said, "Hey, let's go up to Canada. It's not that far. We could say we did it." And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" I don't know what I was expecting to see. Like I crossed the line. Like I was gonna be just in this beautiful experience. And not to dig on Canada, but we get there, and also at the same time, this happened to be the first time on the way before the border that I decided to partake in eating recreational drugs. And I was, you know, just snooping it up. And I got to the border, and I remember I thought I was going through like the most strict security. Reality, they're probably just smiling and saying like, "Thank you for coming here. We never see anyone." And I get there. And we go to a town called, I don't remember a lot. We go to a town, by the way, I took way too much. We go to a town called White Rock. You know where White Rock, Canada is?
No, it sounds like the most Canadian town on the planet.
Yeah, White Rock, Canada doesn't even like White Rock, Canada. Like it is a town this big on the map, very, very small. And yeah, I was flying high, my man. I was flying high. You know what I did, Alex? I went to go see whales. There was a boating adventure. Some nice guy rolled up to me with a couple of vests. He said, $30, I'll take you and your friends out. We were feeling great. So we were like, this sounds like a tremendous decision. It was a 6-hour excursion. 6 hours, Alex. 6 hours. And I didn't even know I was in Canada, most likely during that time. I have pictures. They were great. So I don't remember. I'm going to have to come see you and get my real first exposure of Canada and maybe remember it this time.
This whole story,
I was high out of my mind, okay?
This whole story really makes sense. I went to White Rock, Canada, high as a kite, and went whale watching. It's like
God honest truth, man. It's the God honest truth. And what's funny is like me and my 3 buddies can't recall. None of us can tell you what we did. None of us. All I remember is on the way back, we thought that marijuana was so hyper illegal in Canada that we were freaking out on the borders. That's It was a blast. It was a memory. Not a lot of people can say they have memories in Canada, especially White Rock.
I have memories of Canada.
I would hope so.
All right, Cozy. We're gonna end on probably the most serious of questions we've been asked tonight. Sometimes people really want to reach out to us about some serious topics. So sometimes people need to turn to YouTubers for advice with their life circumstances, and I would trust you with that. So I'm gonna ask you the question from Bert Nicky. Fuck, I can't.
Keep it again. I'm gonna kill
The
you.
question from. Okay, I'm just gonna say to you while I'm laughing. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Ready? We can't. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
Hold on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. I've been laughing. All right. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I've been trying to say.
Alex has not been able to get this question. I've been laughing this whole time, and I'm on
I've
my.
been trying
I just
to
finished
get
talking
the
about being
question
high
for
in
10
Canada,
minutes.
and he's about to hit me with this serious question.
Bort Nicky asks, Cozy. Bort Nicky asks.
I'm just gonna look at you the whole time. I'm not even gonna make a face.
Okay. I'm actually gonna deliver it this time. Okay. Bort.
Are we high?
Bort Nicky asks, is my dad coming back from the cigarette run?
Woof. Bort Nicky, your dad's run might have turned into an epic quest, for the rarest, most elusive pack of cigarettes known to humankind. He could be traversing treacherous terrain, engaging maybe in some high-stake negotiations, and maybe even fending off like some mythical creatures, all in pursuit for that perfect puff. So hang in there, and remember, sometimes the journey to the corner store, it could be full of, an unexpected adventure. So maybe he's just busy. He's coming back.
He's not coming back. Have yourself a great night. Thanks for watching the Snapchat.